Hi again, another Tigox podcast with MacGregor-Bromfield. Today, the poem that I'm going to be speaking about is back pain. Now, before I get into the poem, I'm going to speak about a little bit about my experiences with back pains. So I'm gonna take serious thing, make joke, because it is quite a few times, and I say that it has happened to me that I have been incapacitated and not able to move because of the excruciating backache that I've had. But I've had just out of the blue. It's like it's just come out of nowhere. I can't think what I did or what I lifted or whatever. So it is something to not be able to move, and somebody has to lift you up, somebody has to help you dress and that kind of thing. So it is quite something. And I remember one time I was actually going to mention that it's not just my back that sometimes just out of the blue does things its own thing, but sometimes my knees just like disappear on me. I remember one time I went to a movie with a friend, and I came back home fine, meaning I went to the movie, everything was fine, come back, and I'm coming out of the car now to go into my house. And when I came out, I had to hold on to the car because my knees just disappeared. And I'm like, what's going on? And the person is like, you okay? And I said, no. All of a sudden, it's like I have no knees. The person had to come out of their car, lift me up, and I live upstairs. They had to lift me up all the way up the stairs because I could not walk up there. And they rest me in the bed, and they asked me if I'm all right, and I said, well, no, not right now, but I'm sure maybe a little rest would help. I don't really know what it is that's going on. The next day, I was supposed to go to Hollywell with some friends. Now, I am a games lover. I love board games. And I have the board games for the trip. So I have all of the taboo, charades, those kind of things. And I always have new games. That person is saying, wow, where you get this game from? I'm going to ever get one for myself. And I always have that kind of excitement. For years, I used to have monthly games. I'm sidetracking, but that's reinforcing the point. But for years, I used to have games nights. And we coordinate games, and friends come over. They bring over drinks, food, whatever. Then we have a great time. Anyway, so it was a kind of concept like that where everybody's bringing potluck, bringing their own item, and my item was tuna salad, which I had prepared already, was in the fridge, and I have the games, and now I can't walk. So I call, and I'm telling one of my friends I can't go, but please come for the tuna salad. I don't want the tuna salad to waste because I did quite a bit, and the games. They need the games. And then they started calling around and saying, Dawn can't go. And then I kept getting calls back and saying, what do you mean you can't go? I said, I can't walk. I don't know what happened. And I said, oh, well, we are going to carry you. So they are going to carry me up Hollywell because they're not going up there without me. So I'm like, what's going on? Anyway, the next morning, I rested. The next morning, I wasn't okay, but I was limping. So it's like one knee come back. So I'm limping, and I said, all right. So somebody said they would come for me because I can't drive now. So somebody's gonna come for me. So let me help by getting the stuff to the landing of my steps, so that won't have to come all the way up. So it's a female coming for me. I think if a male was coming for me, I would say, oh yeah, yeah, they can do it. But because it's a female, I don't want to put her out so much. So I'm there now taking the things, and I made like 3 trips, and then like the knee just, it's not going no more again. So I stopped on the veranda, which is above the flight of stairs, and I just stayed there waiting for her. She came, somebody let her in, she packed the car, they helped me down the stairs. So this is all this drama, and I'm like, why am I going? Why I can't walk? Anyway, so I go, bandage up one of the knee that I thought was bad, and bandage it up to kind of keep it in place. That was a suggestion by my mother was a nurse, by the way, and so she suggested if I'm gonna go, bandage it up, and I did that. Anyway, so I went, and I called my doctor, and he said, come in on Tuesday or Thursday. He told me to come in to get a referral for physiotherapy. Anyway, so I went to the trip. The next day, one leg working. The following day, it getting stronger. So each day, I'm becoming a little bit more myself. By the Thursday, I'm fine. But I still go to the doctor. I walk into the doctor's office. The doctor said, "Why are you here again?" And then I said, "Remember you told me to come for a referral for physio." But he said, "But you don't look like anything wrong with you." So I said, "No, I'm okay now." So he said, "You don't just go physiotherapy for no reason." so, so he said, "Have a seat. Let's have a discussion." And we're having this discussion. And he said, "What's going on with you?" And then I started to think, what's going on with me? And as I've started to speak about the different things that are going on with me, he said, "You sure you're not pregnant?" I'm like, "Do what?" That's the day that I found out that I was pregnant at the age of 45 for my son, Derek. That was quite something. I had no idea, but you see, that's how God works. He knocked out me knee then because I was doing nothing about it. Just going about my merry business. Had no idea, and that's how I found out. This poem is not about the pregnancy, but this poem is it preceded, which was quite miraculously, the chikungunya, which was going around, and everybody was having backache and footache and whatever kind of ache. When I actually performed this poem at Red Bones, and when I performed it, people were laughing and carrying on. You see, by the next week, everybody calling me and telling me, "Oh gosh, this happened to them, that happened to them," and how my poem, like my poem, come after them. And I did not get chikungunya, but I went through this process as if I did before it hit Jamaica. So it was just really something interesting I thought I would wanted to speak about before I actually get into the poem. So this is what I wrote when one of my attacks of my back deciding to do its own thing. Back pain. My back is hurting, man. This is no joke. No, it did not happen when I got a little poke. You can skin TT. Look like you want me to shout. I was unpacking goods. Then pop, the back pop out. It's a serious something though. I'm in excruciating pain. Can barely walk the stairs. The ache is driving me insane. What you asking me now? If then I refuse the thing? Now that question there is another something. Remember, I experienced labor pain, a tattoo and two major crash. So me nah say no to the thing. Me back have to mash. Me really did a try. But I have to. I have so much on my plate. See what happened now? Me can barely walk straight. Ay, ay, ay.